What's up, people? We're Haunted Smoke and Mirrors. Welcome back to our podcast. I'm Em.
I'm Riker.
First thing I want to talk to you guys about is we just launched merch. Check this out. Look at it. I know that people in the podcast space will not be able to see it, but come.
Come to you if you go to
Actually, it should be in the show notes. You should go down to the show
yeah
notes
in
and
the
click
show
on that.
notes there will be a link and
Yeah,
you can see everything. But
you
yeah,
can see all our merch.
we launch merch.
Yeah,
So we have our like basics, like our basics essentials collection for this channel for like Haunted Smoke and Mirrors and our paranormal investigation channel, those meddling mediums. We have different kind of like collections for each,
yeah,
and also Ouroboros, which
yeah. If you don't
if
know.
you don't know what Ouroboros Productions is, that is what we are calling like our production company type thing. And it's not like a production company like
Yeah.
you would think like you think of. It is more just kind of the brand to house all of
Yeah.
our channels
It's like
because
the
we have so
figurehead.
many.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like Ouroboros is like the overarching like
Brand
brand,
name
and
for
then
all of
like
our other
meddling
businesses.
mediums, haunted smoke and mirrors, hey bye, dungeons and demons, all of our other channels
Yeah.
are under that, so that is
Makes it
just
easier
our
so
like
you don't have to go to each thing separately.
yeah.
So if you guys are interested in merch, this is our, like Riker said, basics collection. So it's branded specifically for those meddling mediums and Haunted Smoke and Mirrors. And this stuff will stay up for as long as we want it to. It's not going to be like an exclusive thing. It's going to be our like basic merch that stays for a while until it gets replaced with something else.
But we will be having a super cool limited edition drop for Halloween coming
Mm-hmm.
in October. You'll get members will get early access end of September for
Yeah.
that. So that is members for meddling mediums, you like YouTube members or Haunted Smoke and Mirrors Patreon members. So there will be updates as like we get closer and closer to the time for you. But just so you can see kind of a
Mm-hmm.
like look into what is like coming. And also, if you saw our candle vlog on the channel, we have launched an Etsy store as well. It's kind
Because
of a
we're
like
crazy.
life update kind of
It's our update for Haunted Smoke and Mirrors, all the stuff that we were doing. 'Cause we kind of took
yeah,
a little,
we
little break.
yeah, we took a like a 2 week break. Sorry about that.
We were working on these
We were
things.
working on a lot of things. We travel had to go we traveled for another ghost hunt
Holidays.
holiday. There's
It's been a
it's been busy, so we took like a short 2 week like
yeah.
break.
But we released merch and we released our Etsy shop, and we're selling candles on our Etsy shop. They are currently sold out, but we're going to restock them soon. So
Yes.
again, if you're interested in that, it will be down in the show notes. But our candles are intuitively designed to match either one of your deities or one of your spirit guides. So if you guys are interested in that, they're kind of like crystal candles. We put crystals in them, charms, herbs, dried flowers.
We do custom scents, like colors. Like it
Hmm.
is very much like no two candles will ever be the
Yeah,
same because it is like
it's
fully
fully
designed for you.
custom.
Yeah. So we'll be restocking those probably maybe within the next couple weeks.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, we just need to go through our first run, which
yeah.
we're planning on doing this week. We're going to make everyone's candle, and then we're going to get some more jars, and that will be restocked. So if you guys are interested in that, we'll keep you updated.
Yeah. So that's Etsy, that's merch. We went on a ghost hunt. Our puppy is doing great. She's getting big.
Miss you, eh?
Miss Yue, Miss Princess Yue. Azriel, our cat, is even bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That I think those are our updates that we have.
Yeah, those are the main updates. So if you guys are interested in any of that, just let us just go down to the show notes and click upon the links that you were looking for. But if you guys are new here, welcome to the podcast. We talk about all things metaphysical, paranormal, spiritual,
Whatever,
witchcraft, all of
everything,
those things.
whatever. And if you don't, if this is your first time listening to this podcast, one, welcome. Two, we like to run this podcast where we have an overarching topic, whether that's like a sentence, a phrase, whatever. And that is the theme of the episode, and it is
Yeah.
unscripted. We don't talk about it with each other before. We just sit down and film our and record kind of our unfiltered
Hmm.
opinions, thoughts, viewpoints on whatever it is. And today's topic is fear mongering.
Yeah, I don't have a clickbaity sentence, but it was similar to the last one. I need to figure out a clickbaity sentence. So whatever you say during this podcast can and will be used as a
Right.
title.
Because the last one I said wrong, it's a demon, and that
And
became
that was the
that
title.
became the title. But, so yeah, today we're talking about fear-mongering in both the paranormal and the spiritual kind of communities.
Mhm,
Because with our channels and our niches and just what we do as mediums and also as paranormal investigators,
mhm.
we kind of have one foot in each,
Yeah,
and because of that, we get a lot of, like, questions, criticisms about how we personally handle, like,
yeah,
mediumship, especially in regards to, like, paranormal investigations
mhm.
and just even our mediumship just in general.
Yeah, because our mediumship very much, like, unveils the things that people think are taboo, are no-nos, are, like, scary,
Yeah,
and we show people that if like, you don't need to be afraid of the paranormal.
yeah,
It is mostly, like, a place of light, happiness, whatever it
yeah.
is.
And I also want to preface this by saying this is not like an or attack at, like, anyone or anything. This is just we've gotten a lot of comments and people, like, reaching out to us about this specific topic and asking what we mean when we say, like, we're trying to, like, remove fear
Yeah,
from the paranormal or, like, spiritual or what we're doing. So
yeah,
this is just because we've gotten a lot of, like, inquiries about
mhm.
it, we are like, we should sit down and talk about it as, like,
Yeah, because literally our other channel, if you guys have watched it, is Those Meddling Mediums. The reason why our channel name is that is to preface or like have a nod to Scooby-Doo, who literally
unmasked.
unmasks the
The monster, which
monsters.
is always just a human, someone
Mhm.
else
That just
pretending.
is someone pretending
Mhm.
to be this scary, awful thing. So we're like, let's create a ghost investigation team that is all psychic mediums so that we can go into investigations and reveal that these things that people think are dark, scary, and like you should avoid haunted places are actually just human souls that used to live there.
Yeah, and we try to connect more with the souls and share their stories versus focus on any, like, crazy demons
Yeah,
or worrying about possessions or any, like,
yeah.
really, like, negative things.
Yeah, because with the paranormal niche, a lot of investigation teams, they are going after the like scary factor of haunted investigations, and that can come from a
Yeah.
lot of things, but a lot of like YouTubers will go into a haunted location and be like, where are the demons? I'm gonna get scratched, things are gonna be thrown across the room,
"Are you gonna
you're
push me down the
exactly
stairs?"
targeting me. And it's very like that's a lot where the fear mongering comes
Mhm.
from in the paranormal.
Yeah, and so do you wanna start with, like, the paranormal, and then we can talk about mediumship, just so it's a little since we have the habit of, like, doing ADHD rambles all over the
Yeah,
place.
well, I just wanted to start with like
Yeah,
this is the main consensus of like
what we
what we
do.
do.
Yeah,
We do this as psychic mediums, we do this as paranormal investigators. Both of our channels do that. So a lot
mhm.
of people like come to us and they're like, I like never thought mediumship was like this. I never thought the paranormal was like not a scary place. You've opened my eyes and made me feel comfortable using my gifts and not worried about all of these like scary things happening to me.
Yeah,
So it doesn't matter which one we talk about. It's just this is a lot of where the questions are coming from is
yeah.
the paranormal community
Well,
doesn't.
let's start with the paranormal. I feel like
Sure.
it's a good place to start because I don't know, we have opinions about it. We have thoughts as people who
Yeah.
are in the niche doing
Yeah, cuz
investigations.
if you get into like the debunking community, a lot of the debunkers go after specifically YouTubers and say like you should stop going into places and like fear mongering and saying that there's
Yeah,
demons all over the place and that they're touching these things. Like, what if it's not that?
yeah, and for the record, we agree with that
Yeah,
because we've gone into places where it's like, oh, there's like the scary demon thing, and like nothing really happens.
yeah,
So, and obviously, it's not like we're not necessarily debating about the fact whether or not like you believe in demons or demons are
yeah.
real or like dark things are real. We do, but that's not the topic of it. It's just the fear mongering
Hmm.
behind those
Yeah,
things.
because if you say a place is haunted, most people are going to go into it fearful that like something bad's going to happen to them.
Yeah.
that they're either going to be made sick by a dark entity, something's going to be thrown at them, they're going to add an attachment and have like horrible things happen to them after they leave, or things are going to be thrown at them, or they're going to be scratched.
Yeah.
Like all of these horrible things when they're going into just like some
And
random house that like
yeah.
potentially had like a cute little family in it, and then just like something horrible happened to them one day,
Yeah.
and now everyone's scared.
Yeah. No one's ever died from ghost hunting.
Yeah.
Check out our shirt that has that. Show
Merch,
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 merch, merch, merch.
go down
Go
there.
down there. Anyway, um, yeah, I don't know. When it comes to like the paranormal, I definitely don't love the like fear mongering of like everything being like the devil's asylum or Diablo's asylum or
I
like
encountered a thing,
demon
the
and
scariest night of my life.
because we've seen like videos
Yeah.
of people being like Diablo's asylum and it was like Ashmore Estates
Yeah.
that we've been to, so we're like
I was like, do people like call it that? It's because I like, I don't know, when I try to title things, when you let me, I try to make sure that it is in line with what other people refer to it as.
yeah,
So, like, when you do the Conjuring House, all the time with YouTube, you say the real Conjuring House because in the movie it's a different
yeah,
Conjuring House.
exactly.
Or, like, I think we went to Brushy Mount State Penitentiary. There's like a specific weird name. I
Mhm.
think it's like the Gates of Hell, they like call it there. So, that was used in the title, but it was more so like the stories about the place and how other people refer to it.
Yeah.
That usually gets into the title, but like
Yeah, and also like with YouTube too, there's a lot of times where like
you need to
you need to
over
have like
like
yeah,
over whatever it overhype. Hmm.
overhype, and like there's like clickbaity things,
Yeah.
especially with like thumbnails, titles, and we talked about this kind of like briefly on a live stream recently. But while yeah, you're like doing that is to like for like viewers to get
Yes.
them to click
For the
on it, it
algorithm.
also is like feeding like the machine behind
Yes.
YouTube. So that is why like saying like, oh, like
Using the word
demonic
demon.
encounter,
Hmm.
demons, it helps, it makes the video
It makes
perform
your
well.
video do better.
So while I don't necessarily agree with it, I understand the reasoning as people who also are YouTubers who like
Yeah.
understand that
Yeah,
part.
there is a
We,
healthy amount that we
yeah,
like have to subscribe to in
yeah,
order to make YouTube like our videos and push them to the
yeah.
top.
So if we ever like clickbait something, we always try to make sure that whatever is clickbaited is followed through
Delivered
in the
into.
video. So you get what you like, what we promise.
Yeah,
So like at like Fairfield talking to the me demon,
yeah.
we talked about like her demonic encounter because we
Hmm.
were talking to
The me
the
demon.
me demon. But if we go somewhere and there's no like demon thing, we don't put like any like
Yeah, because it wouldn't make sense. If you're
yeah,
clicking on the title, it should still like go into what the video is about necessarily.
yeah,
So like even when we're talking to the me demon, we're not in the video like trying to make you guys necessarily afraid of
read
him.
about yeah.
We talk to him and we're like, "Why are you here?
What are
Why
you
did
doing?
what happened to make you
Mm-hmm.
manifest in this place?"
Yeah,
And he told us, like it told us.
yeah. So that is how we try to like
Mhm.
go about things of even if there is like scary dark things obviously if we like feel safe to do so like because there are times where like things are scary and like we don't
Mhm.
feel safe and we don't talk to them but most of the time if you see us talking to something it's because we feel fine to do so
Yeah.
and we try to figure out why it's there
Mhm.
because to me that's more interesting. I want to
Mhm.
know like why like if there's a demon in this place why is it there. I don't want to just know that it's there just because it's a haunted location. What
Mhm.
happened at this location or what happened to like make something like this stay in a place like this long after people are gone or whatever. Like,
Yeah, because like I don't know if I've talked about this before, but it's like when I started doing mediumship, I was afraid of dark entities. And I had another medium tell me that there was like a dark entity in my house that was like making this tapping noise on my kitchen cabinets. So with that, I was like terrified and I didn't like want to do any of this stuff. And it just like ate away at me because I like listened to all of the people on the internet talk about mediumship and how you have to like protect your energy and like surround yourself in white light and you or you have
hmm
to ignore the entities and they go away. But once I started like figuring out that I can just talk to the dark entities as a medium, I started realizing why they were there in the first place.
Mhm.
And 90% of the time, you'll have a dark, quote unquote, attachment or like a dark entity around you because they're trying to teach you some sort of lesson to help balance things for you. So
Yeah.
if you're having a hard time, like having a depressive episode, you'll have a dark entity helping you deal with those things.
Mhm.
So we aren't approaching things from fear, we're approaching things from understanding.
Yeah, and it's not to say that we haven't, like, gone places and been scared at the
Yeah,
location, but even if we are genuinely, like, scared of something, I mean, most of the time that I've been, like, scared at a location, it's been because of human souls
yeah,
that are, like, scary, not because of, like, a dark thing.
yeah.
But we even if we're, like, scared, we don't try to overplay it for the camera. We try to keep it very, and I think we do keep it very, like,
Even if we're scared, we're
um,
still trying to approach
with understanding.
those souls with understanding. Because, like,
Mhm.
most of the time, the things that I'm afraid of are
Mhm.
people souls. Because human souls are interesting because they have the ability to see above you because they have a higher vibration, so they can see more into what scares you,
Mhm.
and they will target those things and make you feel those things.
Yeah, like, when we went to Randolph with, we took my friend Jay to
Mhm.
Randolph County Infirmary. Um, we were, like, doing the Estes method down in the jail cells, and there were, like, 3 men who, like,
Mhm.
did some pretty gross, horrible things to a woman
Yeah.
who started, like, talking to us and were, like, specifically, like, pressing, like, buttons and triggers of traumas that I had to try
Mhm.
to scare me.
Yes.
But talking to, like, the me demon at Fairfield, it's just like, "Your car's out on fire out there. There's
Yeah.
someone in the driveway.
Like,
There's
I'm gonna
blood
hurt you.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you."
Yeah.
So, at least for me, like, even when we were recently at the Conjuring house, it was saying, like, "I'm gonna levitate you," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay,
It's like
no,
these
you're
like
not."
very scary, like out of the blue sort of stuff. I'm sure there are dark entities that have the ability to like read into things, and
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen dark
They
entities
they
that can do
definitely
that.
exist.
But a lot of times there is a very big difference between dark human souls and just dark entities.
Yeah.
And dark entities don't have that like human connection.
Mhm.
So they don't know how to make you tick in the human sense. I
Yeah.
don't know if that makes like any sense whatsoever. It's
It
kind of
makes
like,
sense to me. I get
yeah,
it.
the way I like to explain it is it's like the difference between the fear mongering or like the difference between the fear you get from like the Exorcist movie where like her head is like spinning
I've
all
never seen
around.
that. Just as a side note.
All you need to know is a little girl gets possessed and her head spins around and she oozes green slime from the mouth.
Cool.
That's a very dark entity sort of
Yeah.
movie. But something that would be more human-esque, like a dark human soul, would be more so like I always struggle with this one because I don't like watching stuff like this. Um, I don't know if Handmaid's Tale like falls in line with that, but like scary, uncomfortable things, or like Dahmer, that
Yeah.
like documentary series, that would be more like human-esque horrible
Yeah.
things like that.
I don't know, like, when we went to, like, Brushy, like, the human souls there, like, there were, like, dark entity things, but those were nowhere near as scary as, like,
Yeah,
this, like, really violent, scary inmates that were in certain places,
yeah,
like.
because the human connection
Mhm.
when it comes to dark things is a bit worse. Because
Yeah.
it's like if you guys have watched The Grudge versus the Dahmer series, it's literally like some like scary child thing with dark hair making like noises. Like
Yeah.
that's not going to fuck with your like human scared
Yeah.
irrational fears, but serial killer will.
Yeah. So, I don't know, I I also, like, when it comes to, like, the paranormal too, especially, like, with YouTube, a lot in my opinion, I feel like a lot of where the fear mongering also stems from is the like paranormal TV shows that like
Yeah.
predated
Mhm.
everything because like those have been around for a while. I remember
Oh, yeah.
watching them when I was a kid, like
Mhm.
sneaking in like when I was like homesick from school, I would like sneak watch it because I wasn't allowed to like watch scary things like that.
Yeah.
But I would like watch the like shows of like people getting like possessed and levitated and thrown and all of that stuff, and I was just like, that's wild. Like,
Yeah. Like ghost hunters, ghost
yeah,
adventures.
like,
There are people that talk about those things and they genuinely want to like find evidence of spirits and stuff like that, but
but it's also
it doesn't do well.
yeah, and also the like network producers, people like that are going to like edit and frame the
Mhm.
show in a specific way that is going to keep audience
Yeah.
retention, make it more
Keep the
entertaining,
ratings high.
keep ratings high. So that's why a lot of those shows like lean into things like
Yeah.
that, especially like something like Ghost Adventures.
Yeah, because like Jason Hall talks about how he wants to have the evidence be the focus of the show,
But
but the producers will change it to make it
hmm
scarier. That's where the fear mongering comes from,
yeah,
and that's where the YouTubers then like mirror their content from.
yeah. So I think that that is where a lot of that's like kind of stems from in the YouTube is
Hmm.
following the TV shows that predated everything. And I do feel like I've seen other people talking about like a shift in the paranormal, especially with like everything that's been going on lately
Yeah.
with like all of the drama, which we're not getting into. I don't want to talk about it. But like I think that I think that is where the debunkers are doing a really good job of being like, why are you guys going into every location? Like if this is your job and you're going to location after location, why are you still like overplaying the like scared demon
Yeah.
aspect? Like why is that still happening?
Hmm.
Because I agree. I don't think
Yeah.
that
A lot of times when you go to haunted locations, you're sitting in the dark for
mhm.
something to happen. A lot
Yeah.
of times nothing happens.
Yeah. So and I mean obviously like I don't know, when we go to a location, like the last location we went to, we were like if you include when we like showed up for like drone footage,
Mm,
we were filming from like 6:30 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning.
yeah.
Almost 12 hours
Yeah.
straight.
We didn't have 12 hours of activity.
No, we didn't have 12 hours of activity, but we're also not going to upload 12 hours
Exactly.
of like footage of like nothing happening
Yeah.
because no one's going to want to sit and watch a 12-hour like
12-hour of
video
anything.
of three people just sitting in a
In
like
the
in a
dark.
haunted location just like
Okay,
is
now
there
what?
is there anyone who wants to touch this?
Yeah. Hmm.
Like people aren't going to watch that. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's also where like when it comes to like the YouTube things is I know there's a lot of talk too about like it being like entertainment like just for entertainment purposes
Yeah.
and like to an extent it is.
It what kind of has
It
to
has
be
to be for
in order
YouTube.
for YouTube to like rank it?
Yeah.
There has to be a reason people are watching it.
Yeah. So we personally tried to like find the that balance
Hmm.
of we're obviously going to show the best things we get from a location,
Yeah.
but we also aren't going to like take out any like slow bits that happen in between if it like
Yeah.
fits. Like
Hmm.
I don't know, we try to keep like if there's like any long pauses
Yeah.
where we get nothing, we keep those in because that is the reality of
Yeah.
things. And obviously we're still a newer channel to this, so there's still a lot of like figuring out how we want to make sure that we like capture and like show a lot of that authenticity of what actually happens
Hmm.
while also keeping a video entertaining for
Hmm.
people because you don't want to sit and watch a 3-hour video of
Sitting in the
people
dark.
staring at like a dark like corner,
Although something that lights up.
yeah, just waiting for
Yeah.
something to
Just
happen
waiting for something to happen.
because that is
Yeah.
a lot of what ghost hunting is.
Yeah. So our videos seem a lot more active than they actually are too.
Hmm
So we don't try to like make it scarier than it is because again, a lot of people, especially in the mediumship niche, are afraid to do mediumship because they're afraid of being attacked spiritually.
yeah, and I personally have a lot more issue with the fear mongering in like the spiritual
Yeah.
community versus the paranormal. I
Hmm.
don't think either are good,
Yeah.
but I think that the because even they're like even like there's a crossover with paranormal channels where they bring in like other like mediums and psychics to like validate things, and those people even kind of like lean in and double down on the fear mongering aspect.
Yeah, because it's normal.
Yeah, and I don't know, I was someone who was raised Mormon, so I understand like the religious like
Mhm.
kind of like fears about like demonic entities. Like I understand where that
Mhm.
stems from, as I
Yeah,
wasn't allowed to like
'cause that goes into a lot of mediumship stuff is
yeah,
religion stuff.
and I feel like that is my issue is whether or not like whatever like you practice religiously, I have no issue with.
Mhm.
I I personally am not a religious person, but I am a spiritual person. So I believe in a higher power. I like we work with deities, angels, like
Mhm.
what whatever. But I think that there's a lot of people in like this spiritual community and like mediumship community that do kind of like reinforce a lot of the fear mongering aspects of the paranormal,
Mhm.
being like, yes, like everyone does get possessed, like you're opening yourself up to possession for these things, or because I refrained for, and even still do refrain from watching a lot of spiritual content creators
Mhm.
because of that reason. Like if I watch anything, it's more of like the witchy aspect because
Yeah.
from what I've seen, a lot, and obviously it's like
Mhm.
you're still gonna find like exceptions and everything, but a lot of like witches are more comfortable talking about like the more like taboo things in terms of spirituality of like working
Yeah.
with like demons or daemons or dark things and doing like
Yeah.
kind of stuff. It's a lot more acceptable to talk about it
Uh-huh.
and normalized.
Mhm.
But in just like the like spiritual, like the greater spiritual, it's still very much like like Jesus is the only thing that like
Mhm.
can save. And I'm not saying that like Jesus isn't real or he can't do those things, but there's so much more beyond that, in my personal
Well, it's
opinion.
like the religious aspects is a lot of fuel for fear mongering.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
that's what happened with, like, Ed and Lorraine Warren. They were, like, very into, like, Christianity religion, and they used those to form their opinions about the paranormal as a whole. And they're the first people that were able to talk to the public about
Mhm.
the paranormal and teach people about ghosts, and they taught it from a fear-mongering place, and
Yeah.
they said, this goes against like my religion. These demons are going to come after you. These demons are going to be bad for you.
Yeah.
So it creates that's where a lot of it stems from is from religion. Like even now when we do mediumship stuff, there's people that come in and they like say prayers at us because they think that we're just talking to demons.
Yeah. When it's like yeah, we do because we're not necessarily afraid of them
Yeah.
and we're trying to show a different aspect of things,
But they
but
think when we talk to their grandfather,
we're
we're
talking
talking
to
to a
demons.
demon.
Yeah. Like I don't know. I have just so much issue with it because a lot of like 'cause obviously we believe everyone is a medium.
Yeah.
So like this is not I'm not trying to even say that these people who like fearmonger aren't mediums because I
Yeah.
know that they are, but a lot of it just stems from their own like fearful ego responses of
Mhm.
things. And it's understandable. I understand where it comes from
Yeah.
and if it
Especially if something like has happened to you
yeah,
that we're talking about, the house flipping upside down, you being like dragged out of bed,
yeah,
or like something being thrown at you, like
like I don't doubt that that happened at
yeah,
all. Like
I
I
know that
believe it.
stuff happens.
Yeah. But and I think that obviously like spirituality is so broad in general that there's going to be a lot of like disagreeing about like practices and things, and that's great. Like I think that being able to have conversations about things is fantastic.
Hmm.
I think if everyone agreed on everything, especially spiritually, it'd be boring. We wouldn't learn things.
Yeah.
But for me, I struggle with that aspect of like, oh, like this bad thing happened to you, it's because of a demon. Like
Hmm.
you're being manipulated by demons.
Yeah.
Like whether you're afraid of those things and those energies is not the point, but like that is completely fine. I understand. Like if you are afraid and you don't want to work with darker things or
Hmm.
accept them for how we view it, that is completely okay. That is your choice. Like,
Yeah.
but to put your own fear-based opinions and try to force them on other people who view it differently,
Mhm.
that is where I have issue. Like, people trying to come at you and saying that because you, like, broke up with, like, your last relationship because you were in an abusive relationship, being like, "It's because you use Ouija boards and demons, like,
Yeah, it's
manipulated you to do that."
fear-mongering.
Yeah. That in itself, that is
It's very
fear-mongering.
invalidating.
Yeah, because and this is I don't know if you can tell me if you don't want me to get into this right now, but I feel like that is where a lot of, like, other issues I have with spirituality come into play is people trying to like force like every little thing that happens to you being like some sort of like greater spiritual thing, like breaking up with your boyfriend. Oh, that's a demon that caused that.
Yeah,
Or, oh, like I was driving and I saw like a dead bird on the side of the road.
yeah,
That must be like a really horrible omen.
yeah.
That is where I feel like personally to me spirituality goes a bit too far
Mhm,
because I think that there's a lot of need to just also understand that sometimes things just happen.
mhm,
It doesn't have to be some like crazy omen or manipulation by spirit.
mhm.
Sometimes things can just happen.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, but talking more about like fear aspects of things. Fear is the thing that separates us.
mhm,
So, like, we're talking about religious things. We believe all religions are accurate, true,
mhm,
whatever. Where they become untrue is when you put humanistic ego into it. So that is where people's fears come into it and manipulate it. So, for example, with Christianity, people are afraid that if they aren't saved and they don't save as many people as possible, they're not going to end up in heaven with their loved ones.
yeah,
And that's a, again, fear-mongering aspect of religion in and of itself
mhm,
that trickles down into these sort of things. So when you're doing mediumship in regards to like paranormal things, that fear aspect separates us, and that
mhm,
is the definition of what ego is. It's where it stems from is
yeah,
fear.
exactly. Because I think that having like differences of opinions is great, but forcing yours on others out of your own fear
Hmm.
is the issue.
Yeah, because that's why all of those things are happening too. Like, oh, I think something bad's going to happen to me because I saw something dead on the road. That's going to be,
You're gonna
again, a fear response.
Yeah, and you're putting yourself in that fear-based mindset, and you're going to start just expecting and waiting
Hmm.
for something bad to happen. So it's almost like you're going to make it happen.
Yeah, but it's like I also like watch this other medium talk about stuff because it's like if you're in a car and all of a sudden you think you're gonna get in an accident or whatever, how do you know it's you like thinking horrible things
Mhm.
or if it's spirit? And this medium specifically was like, if you don't feel fearful of the information you're getting, most likely that is intuitive information.
Yeah.
But if you are fearful from it, that is your own intrusive thoughts. And that's like very hard to explain until you like have that
Yeah.
experience because souls have started telling me when people like are going to have like medical
Mhm.
problems. And while it's happening, literally while it's happening in my head, it's just like so natural and normal. It's just like I'm having like I'm watching TV or like a
Yeah.
dream. And then once I realize what's going on, that's where my fear comes in and that's when the intuition stops and my brain
Yeah.
finishes the rest because I'm like,
No,
wait a second,
this
what's
the
going
same
on?
thing has happened to me when like we were doing like a reading live stream.
Yeah.
Like I was started getting information about something that was going to happen to someone, and I just got it and it was nothing, and then I went, "Wait, what was that?" And then I started to,
Yeah.
like, be, like, nervous about it.
Yeah. It's like the fear comes second.
Yeah, but obviously, like, that is how, like, I knew that, like, I was getting something, and then, like, the fear of it
Hmm.
changed, but I don't know, like, I always have, like, intrusive, scary thoughts that when I'm walking down a flight of stairs, I'm going to
Hmm.
fall down the stairs.
Yeah.
That's not spirit being like, "Careful, you're gonna fall."
That's your fear.
That's just me being afraid because I'm clumsy.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with spirit, and if I do fall down the stairs, it's not
It's
it's
probably because your
it's
fear got to you. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, exactly, it's because I'm clumsy and fearful of it.
Hmm.
That is why that is the case,
Yeah.
like
Because that's why it's an issue that people are fear mongering, especially in this space, because the fear creates more separation from you and quote unquote collective spirit, whatever. And that's going to not only affect your mediumship, but it's going to affect how you go into these places. Because if you are fearful, you're going to attract fearful things to you.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, a big thing that I think, especially like mediums, psychics, like spiritual people need to like understand is even if something negative happens to you, like let's say you were like working with Loki
Hmm.
and you had a negative experience working with Loki.
Yeah.
You don't, in my opinion, you don't have the right to go to other people who work with Loki and be like, he's tricking you, he's being horrible to you, he is not real, you're not actually talking to Loki because I had an experience that was bad, so you're wrong.
Yeah.
I think that is the big that I think
Hmm.
that is the biggest issue because whether and like you don't have to work with Loki and you can have opinions about it,
Hmm.
but trying to tell other people who are working with Loki that they're wrong, their
Yeah.
experiences are invalid, that that's not yours and it's something else, that is an issue to me.
Yeah, because I think we talked about this in the last podcast. It's kind of like everyone's going to have a different opinion of me. Some
Yeah,
people think I'm the nicest person ever. Other people would never want to talk to me because they're like, they hate me.
yeah,
Same thing with deities, same
yeah,
thing with angels, spirits, whatever. But my experience of quote unquote like not liking someone is not going to impact other people around them to not like them too.
yeah.
So,
And I don't know, like, because we get a lot of people who like don't agree with the fact that we like play with Ouija boards, work with demons and stuff. And that's completely okay.
yeah.
Like they don't just because we do doesn't mean other people have to. And
Hmm.
that's why we always say like for like Ouija boards, if using a Ouija board makes you uncomfortable, don't
Don't
use a
use a
Ouija
Ouija
board.
board.
That's completely fine. Like my spiritual sandwich metaphor. There are so many ingredients you can put on a sandwich and it will still be a sandwich no matter what. You
Yeah.
can make your spirituality whatever you want.
Hmm.
I don't like pickles. I hate pickles.
Yeah.
But if you happen to like pickles, you can put all the pickles you want on your sandwich,
Hmm.
and it's still a sandwich. Me not having pickles on my sandwich doesn't make my sandwich any less of a sandwich.
Yeah. Exactly.
So put whatever you want on your spiritual sandwich and let it be. Like,
Yeah.
and you can have conversations and you can disagree with people. That's fine.
Hmm.
But to like try to force your fear-based viewpoints on things because you've had like clients or other experiences or things that were negative
Yeah.
invalidates our own experience.
Hmm.
Like if I said that to you, like you don't actually work with like Archangel Michael because
Yeah.
I see him this way and you described him a different way, so it's someone else pretending to be Archangel Michael. He's not you're actually working with him.
Yeah.
That is invalidating of your personal experience
Hmm.
of work of
Yeah.
it. Like
Yeah. And that goes into like fear mongering in the sense that it's going to build fear in the other person
hmm
of being like overthinking everyone they now talk to.
yeah,
Because there's like people that are afraid to talk to their spirit guides because they're like, well, what if it's a dark entity pretending to be my spirit?
I was just gonna get into that.
Because, like, literally in the last one, we were talking about Sakuna.
hmm
So many people have come to us and are like, are you sure he's not, like,
We've
screwing
we've
with you?
in comments, emails,
Yeah,
DMs.
he's just,
Like,
he's, he is the pickles on your sandwich. A
yeah,
lot of people don't like him.
yeah, he's a
He's an
lot.
acquired
It's the
taste.
same with our spirit guide Richard. We call him
Yeah,
Richard because he's a
he's a
dick.
dick.
And it's not that he's like harming us. It's just he's an asshole because we need asshole
Yeah,
energy as
'cause
a spirit
he was
guide.
literally teaching, like, okay, he was literally teaching me about narcissistic people, and he was like talking to me like they would talk to me and be like, see, you don't like it. If I talk to you like this, you're going to start realizing because you don't have an emotional connection with me, Richard,
Yeah,
that you're these people that you're making excuses for them.
yeah,
And now he doesn't talk to me like that. So
Yeah,
I was like, don't ever talk to me like these abusive people again. I get it now. I get why you're
yeah.
doing that.
And it
That's
was
why we
like,
call him the dick.
yeah, and it was like, heads up, now you
Yeah.
know. That
And
is what he was doing. Like,
now I don't surround myself with people that talk like that
yeah,
because I don't like it.
there are even people who are like, do my spirit guides get like angry with me because
Yeah.
I'm not doing something? And it's
Yeah.
like they only get angry with you if
Need it.
you need them to be angry
Yeah.
with you to get you to like do things as your spirit guides.
Yeah. I've
Your
had,
spirit guides will like do
mhm,
whatever you need in that moment.
yeah, they're not your friends. They have a job to
Yeah,
like help you with things.
yeah. But knowing things about your spirit guide, if that is something that helps you, is great.
Hmm. There's a lot of people that think that they like second guess if they're talking to their spirit guides because there's a huge community that says, "Are you sure you're talking to your spirit
Yeah,
guides and not a dark entity?"
which is why we like to help people. We like since typically like see spirit
Hmm.
guides and can describe them or draw them. That's why we have like done those types of readings for people,
Yeah.
so they have especially like for new mediums,
Hmm.
when like talking about like discerning entities, like we did in our last podcast. It can be very overwhelming trying to learn how to discern entities if you're just all of a sudden, you know, like you're trying to develop your mediumship and you're like, okay, well, how do I know the difference between a
Yeah.
deity and a spirit guide? How do I know that this is actually my spirit guide?
Yeah.
We tell people those things and help them connect with it so they have an understanding of, oh, it helps them learn how to discern on
Yeah.
their own. And however far they want to like delve into their spirit guides is up to them. Like,
Hmm.
all of my spirit guides don't have names, and I don't
Hmm.
even necessarily always speak to a specific spirit guide. I just speak to my spirit guides
As
overall
a collective.
as a
Yeah.
collective because that is what works for me.
I talk to very
Specific
specific
spirit, yeah,
guides because,
that is what you
hmm,
need. That's what helps you.
yeah. And it's very much like because me as baby medium, I immediately started learning the energy signatures of my spirit guides because
Hmm.
A, it's really easy to do mediumship on the things that are already around you
Yeah,
because you don't need access to like other people to do readings for them.
yeah,
You can just talk to your spirit guides.
yeah.
So when I was talking to my spirit guides, I started realizing how they feel, how they talk, what they like their mannerisms. So like Richard talks in a very specific way.
Hmm.
So if someone else comes in and tries to pretend to be Richard, I'm like,
It's like the inflection on that word was wrong. You're
yeah,
not Richard.
cause like people are gonna think this that Sukuna's more of a dark entity for this. But Sukuna, when he first came in, I was like, I don't like you, you're mean and I want to talk to you. So he made himself look like Richard and was talking to me as Richard. But I picked up on it very quickly. I
Hmm.
was like, Richard doesn't normally get out of his chair. Why are you so close to me? It's literally like if you watched Harry Potter and Hermione
Hmm.
pretending to be Bellatrix. She's not very good at pretending to be
Yeah,
Bellatrix.
it'd be like me trying to pretend to be you.
Yeah, I knew it was Sukuna.
Yeah,
He just needed to make himself look like Richard so that I would start talking to him
yeah.
and realize that he's not going to be like mean, scary, whatever. Because he literally like held me in my sleep and was like, "You're not gonna have a panic attack anymore," and he like sucked the panic attack out of my forehead.
Well, now people are gonna say that he sucked energy out of you, so he's bad. I'm sorry.
Okay, he kissed my forehead and took the anxiety out of me.
So he sucked energy.
So he literally sucked it like a vampire.
I don't know. That's another podcast we want to talk about. Is some point is like people
Energy exchanges.
energy exchanges
Yeah.
and thinking that only dark things
'Cause I think
take energy.
that's gonna be like Science USA. I'm gonna be really excited about that.
I'm excited for that
Yeah.
too. But that'll be probably the next podcast.
It's TMI, TMI.
But I don't know. I just like I understand people being afraid of things, especially things that they don't understand or like have had negative experiences with. So I'm not trying to like shit on those types of people who like are fearful of certain things. Like I don't know, like there are probably several mediums who are like more scared of demons than they would be like human souls at a location. Like going to
Mhm.
Brushy, people would probably be more scared of like the Joker entity or like scary dark things at Brushy versus the male inmates.
Yeah.
It's a matter of perspective.
Yeah. But
And understanding other people's
mhm.
perspectives is a huge part of mediumship. That is how
Mhm.
you learn, that is how you grow, that is how you expand your knowledge. Like there are things that I've learned over the last like 2 years that have like I've changed my opinions on.
Mhm.
I was someone who was spiritual but didn't necessarily believe in like source, God, a higher
Mhm.
like oh like one higher like creator power
Yeah.
until like I started diving more into it, hearing other people's perspectives, how they talked about it, and then went, okay, I actually understand that from a different perspective. Now that makes sense
Mm.
to me. But whatever I do, I personally try to not do anything as a fear-based reaction because I don't want to be afraid of my mediumship. I don't want to be afraid to go to
Mhm.
locations. I don't want
Yeah.
to put myself in a like scared, like anxiety bubble of doing anything out of fear that I'm going to be like tricked or possessed or scratched or
Mhm.
anything because I have enough stressors
Mhm.
in my life. I don't need to worry about a demon possessing me.
Well, it's also like the more you are fearful of things like that happening, the more you are like this is gonna sound bad, but the more you're allowing it to happen. The reason why I
Mhm.
say that is because you have an expectation that it's going to.
Yeah.
So what I like to explain to people is the idea that you need to surround yourself in white light. People don't really understand that concept. Like, okay, I'm imagining white light around me, but I'm afraid it's not going to work and I'm afraid they still have access to me. You're not putting white light around
Yeah.
you. White light is faith.
Yeah. And we talked about it in like one of the previous podcasts of
Mhm.
like when we go to locations, like we don't do any like special like rituals
Yeah.
or anything to protect ourselves because we just know we are protected.
Yeah. We have faith
We
that
have the faith
we are protected.
that we are protected, we are
Like
safe, and we will be fine.
white light energy to protect yourself is knowing that nothing can impact you or affect you. If you have the like leering thought that that's going to happen, that isn't white light. That's allowing the walls that you have to be open for that.
Yeah, because I don't know, like I haven't been to like all that many
Hmm.
investigations now, and there have been times where I've been like a little bit afraid, or
Yeah.
and like my own ego mind has wandered, being like, well, like is something bad going to happen, like because of this? And I just have this like understanding with my spirit guides of when I start if I myself start putting those thoughts in my head,
Yeah.
I want them to take it out and
Hmm.
remove that so I'm not fearful in those things because if I suddenly start panicking, being fearful at an investigation, something is going to happen.
Yeah.
So if like I'm doing the Estes method and I'm feeling uncomfortable and I'm like, oh no, like am I gonna like get scratched? Is like something gonna happen? My spirit guides, they're like, why are you being stupid? Why are you thinking about that? You've done the Estes method in
Hmm.
scarier places than this and you were fine. What do you mean?
Yeah.
So
But you can do like the rituals to get your mind in line
mhm,
with that. So,
yeah.
like for me, if I'm going somewhere that I feel uncomfortable, I bring someone with me.
Mhm,
But it's very much like we had this investigation where the tour guide was like, "You guys are a new team, so let me give you advice. Like you need to like tell the entities that are here not to follow you home, that nothing can follow you home." And my team is like telling me that and I'm like, he probably shouldn't have told you that because now you have it in your head that that can happen
mhm,
and you would allow it to because you're worried about it happening.
mhm.
But if you think, no, that's impossible. They stay here. Why would they follow me home?
Yeah,
It's less likely for that to happen. You're not going to allow it in your head
yeah,
because you don't think it's possible.
yeah. Because like my whole thought of that is I was like, yeah, I know technically something could follow me home. Why
Yeah,
would they want to?
exactly.
Like,
And I'm
or
not saying it doesn't happen
yeah,
even when you are like that,
yeah,
but it is less likely to
yeah.
happen.
It's even with like it's even with like possession of I'm like, okay, like could I potentially get possessed? Yes. Why would something want to like possess me? Like
Hmm. What is the purpose?
Yeah, what would be the purpose?
Yeah.
Or even like it kind of goes into like the discerning entities checklist of things of like if like something does like if I do like think like, I wonder if this is like something like, okay, what is the purpose?
Mhm.
Why would this why would this dark thing be here to trick me?
Mhm.
What would they gain from it?
Yeah.
Besides just draining your energy or like ruining your life,
Mhm.
what is their purpose?
Mhm. Yeah.
Why why would like if I'm working with like I don't know, trying to like if I'm working with like Beelzebub,
Yeah.
let's say, what why would he like trick me, open me up to possession to have a like lower ranked entity under him possess me?
Yeah.
Like why I don't know. I tried to like use like logic
Mhm.
in a sense, and obviously it's hard to like people are gonna be like, well, how do you like apply logic to like spiritual or supernatural things? It's hard to, but it's like what would a demon's goal be in like priming you for possession to not be the one to possess you themselves?
Yeah.
If this is like a big bad, wouldn't it be the opposite way? Wouldn't like their lower and that's just how my brain works. Like,
Well, it's also your mindset is a lot more powerful than you think.
mm,
There are people that literally have had like tuberculosis and been really sick, and they just like tell themselves, "No, I'm gonna get through this. It's fine."
literally
And
like
they get through it and they're not sick anymore.
literally like doctors with like cancer patients
Yeah.
always tell people like the best medicine and the best cure is you staying positive.
Mhm.
The more positive you
Mindset.
are, the better your body will react.
That's the same thing with the
Hmm.
paranormal. If you think something bad is going to impact you, it has more ability to.
Hmm.
Like at the beginning, when I was afraid of dark entities, I would watch things like The Devil's Rocking Chair, The Conjuring House, and I would feel sick.
Hmm.
I would get headaches and I would feel sick. Like Annabelle, I did a video on Annabelle, and I was like, this is horrible because
Yeah,
I allowed those things to impact me negatively.
yeah,
Whereas now I come from it from a different angle, and I'm like, I just want to understand you. I'm not going to allow you to impact me because I know that you can't do that if
yeah,
I don't allow it to.
yeah. I don't know. Like I've watched things of like Robert the Doll, where like other people like will like flood the comments being like, I don't claim this. Like I'm sorry for like looking at you.
I really needed I don't claim this
I don't
energy
claim this. We
t-shirt.
should do that.
I really
But
need that.
I like I've never like I'll look at him through a video because I'm like, out
Yeah,
of if this video has millions of views on it, why would Robert the Doll single me out
yeah,
to hurt me?
yeah.
I don't think he's gonna do shit through a video. I think like if I actually went there and disrespected him, sure, something might happen.
Well, you're also making a, if you want to think about a logic standpoint, you're making a video for millions of people to watch. It's going to impact all these millions of people, and that's exactly what he wants you to do.
Yeah. So it's like,
More people.
yeah, so it's like, I don't know. I think that there's so much like fear-based mongering in the like spiritual mediumship community, which is why like while we're in it, I don't always like to watch other people because
Mhm.
it's so like fear-based.
Yeah.
And like there like I have seen like plenty of like mediums who are like very like religious Christian who are
Mhm.
like I only work with Jesus and that is completely cool. And
Yeah.
they don't fear monger. They're
All of the
yeah,
religions are accurate until
yeah,
you get into the
yeah.
fear-based aspect
So
of it.
there's a way for you to like have those beliefs,
Hmm.
be religious
And
while
still
not
do mediumship.
yeah, and still do mediumship without like using the fear behind it.
Yeah.
And that's where I have the issue. And even if you
Hmm.
and again, even if you're afraid, I don't have like with my things, I don't have an issue with like being fearful,
Yeah.
but
It's
it's
the fear
using yeah,
mongering.
it's the using your fear to try to make other people fearful
Hmm.
alongside you.
Yeah, the fear mongering is the issue. Because like we go into places and we're fearful. I go into like the Conjuring basement and I'm like, people say bad things happen in
Hmm.
here and I'm scared that things are gonna happen in here.
Yeah,
But I'm not going to like try to make everyone scared about it.
yeah, I don't know. We were sitting in like in the seance room at the Conjuring house, like the last like
Yeah.
recently, and we you through the Estes method were talking about, like, levitating me and was talking
Mhm.
about, like, throwing things.
Yeah.
I was, like I knew what it was referring to, but I was just kind of like, "I
Mhm.
don't think you can."
Yeah.
Just as a, like,
Mhm.
I'm not going to, like, allow you to, like, try to, like,
Yeah.
make to make me scared of it,
Yeah.
because also my thought process was, if you had the intention of levitating and throwing me, you
Mhm.
would have done it already.
Yeah.
You wouldn't need to, like, try to scare me with the language of it. Like, that is how I view things of a dark thing isn't going to, like, poke at me and be like, I'm gonna scratch you, I'm gonna possess you, you're gonna die." They would just do it.
Yeah. But it's also like, we do those things in our videos too, like the scary things of let's have someone go down into the Conjuring basement by themselves and do the SS method, and they're scared because I've done that. I've gone into
Mhm.
scary basements that people like the owners say, do not go in this basement alone. It's bad, it'll impact you. And I go in there scared, but I'm not trying to make everyone else fearful of that. I'm trying to show people it's not as scary to do this. Even
Yeah,
though I'm scared, I'm overcoming those fears.
yeah, yeah. It's fine to be scared. It's not fine to fearmonger.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of just this
Mm-hmm.
rant.
Yeah, because I don't know, it's literally like people saying like at the beginning of our video being like, we're gonna go into this and it's gonna be really spooky. That's different than us saying we're gonna be levitated by demons if we go into a haunted location.
Yeah,
This place has like scratching demons,
like,
like
I'm so scared, I'm gonna get possessed. We
yeah,
were possessed by, like, it's us being like, "Ooh, like,
we're
spooky."
spooked, that anticipation of what is going to happen
Yeah,
here.
which the comment on that specific thing, we filmed that after the fact of the investigation. We filmed the intro after the investigation because it was our video with Mackie and Amanda.
Yeah.
We filmed that after the investigation, so we were dead tired. It was like 2, 3 AM.
Yeah, I said that because Amanda's intro, because they did their intro before
Yeah,
us, was basically like, this is our favorite location because we keep coming back here. I
yeah,
guess I shouldn't say it's my favorite because it is scary and haunted.
yeah,
So I was like, yeah, we're going to get spooked. Whoa.
yeah.
I don't
Then
know.
you watch the video and we weren't spooked. So
Yeah,
it's
we
just
slept there.
we spent the night, like, in the same hotel room we investigated, we slept there.
Yeah, but it's also like if something happens, like I don't know, I keep having dreams of me doing the SS method and someone like pulling me out of the chair.
Yeah,
Like that might change my opinion, but I'm still not going to go out of my way to fearmonger because how often does that happen?
yeah.
I don't know because I keep having like dreams about that happening of like literally sitting in a chair and someone like grabs my leg and pulls me out of the chair and I like hit the floor.
Next thing you know, sure to go. Sorry. I have to
Next thing you know, it happens at our next location.
be cool.
Yeah, but it's like, do I think that that's going to happen? No, but there are people that have those experiences
Yeah,
that are coming from that like place and think that they're trying to protect people by saying like don't do this, don't like go into a place and taunt entities, don't go into certain locations by yourself because it's not safe. Because I can also see the like people coming from a place of like I don't think it's safe for you to do this and I'm worried that you're going to get hurt
yeah,
because
and
I got hurt.
yeah, and I definitely understand that viewpoint too of, like, being like, "This happened to me, so I don't want the same thing to happen to you."
Mhm.
But I feel like, again, we talked about it before, it's like reaching out of the blue or, like, making a video about it, like, whatever, being like, "I'm afraid that, like, other people are gonna get hurt because this bad thing happened to me." Like, and trying to force it, like, on us. It's like, well,
Yeah.
you don't necessarily know everything that we do.
Mhm.
Like, I understand it coming from, like, a point of concern,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, I
is
don't know.
it is it your place to, like, go about it in that way
Mhm.
unprompted?
Yeah, I don't know. My spirit guides are talking to me about it because I'm like, I don't know, would I be, like, too scared to go back into a location if, like, something like that happened? And my spirit guides are like, "You would probably go back into the location to figure out why that happened."
Mhm.
Because, again, that's, like, so, like, left field. So, I would, like, want to go back into the location and be like, "Why did you do that? Did I do something wrong?
Yeah.
What
Who did
caused
that?
this?" So I would
Like,
still
yeah.
approach it from a place of understanding instead of a place of never go into that basement again.
Yeah.
It's more so like, I wanna know what happened, why did this happen? So then it's more so I'm not avoiding it because of fear, I'm more so avoiding it because of understanding. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Mhm.
That's what they're explaining to me.
Yeah.
There's a difference between, like, fear-mongering people out of situations versus giving them understanding, and the people are going to, like, probably use that language and being like, "What's the difference?" There's a difference.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like me, like, I was hit by a car when I was 14.
Mhm.
So I have personal fears of like walking across the street
Yeah.
because I was hit by a car walking across the street.
Mhm.
I don't tell you you shouldn't walk across the street, but it's like, hey, instead of us just like jaywalking, can we like wait at the crosswalk for it to turn? Like, I've had a bad experience and this just makes me more comfortable.
Yeah.
But if you chose to walk across the street, it's not
Mhm.
like it's not an attack against me.
Yeah. You're not preventing me from wanting to go over
Yeah.
that, like, across the street because you think I'm gonna get hit by a car.
No, it's just because
It's
I've
creating caution,
yeah, it's
but
just
it's
like
just
I've yeah, so it's like I had a bad experience being hit by a car, and that led to a
mhm.
lot of like trauma and things because walking across the street at 14 and getting hit by a car is does some damage to you.
Mhm.
Like mentally, not even just physically, but like
Yeah.
mentally. So even though like I've like done a lot of healing to unlearn that, I still have those like fears from
Mhm.
my experience, but I don't
You
make
understand that stuff about yourself,
yeah, I
and you
don't
know that other people don't have the same experience.
yeah,
So you are trying to, like, change it for yourself, but you're not going to instill fear in everyone else about
yeah,
walking across the street.
yeah. Like especially
Because,
because I have like since that like when that happened, there had been plenty of times before that, hundreds of times where I walked across the street and
mhm,
was hit by a car, and I've walked hundreds and hundreds of times across the street and haven't been hit by a car since. That
mhm,
was like a one-off thing that happened,
yeah,
and even things like like traumas or bad things that have happened that are like repeated is still like just my experience alone.
mhm,
We can talk about it so you can maybe understand where I'm coming from, but just because I was hit by a car and am fearful of it doesn't mean you have to adopt that exact same
mhm.
fear.
Yeah, because I don't know, because I'm want to, like, dive into that more so, because it's kind of, like, hard to explain to people the difference of I'm coming from a place of concern versus I'm trying to fearmonger you
Yeah.
out of doing this. Because my spirit guides keep just mentioning the, like, idea that people keep coming after me for making a video on the internet of me, like, breaking up with my ex
Mhm.
and trying to, like, make assumptions about what actually happened.
Mhm.
That is more so, like, spreading more rumors, lies about things that they don't understand, and that is creating the fear associated to, like, dark things. Because there are people that are saying that, like, I don't know, people are saying that my relationship and all of these other things ended because of demons and Ouija boards and all of these
Yeah.
things. That's fear-mongering
Yeah.
because they also didn't come from a place of understanding to understand how this could happen
It
otherwise.
was just
This is
this is what
fact.
happened.
This is happening.
This happened because you used a Ouija board.
Yeah.
And that is because when that happened, that's like I got frustrated by that because
Mhm.
I was as someone who also has like trauma from like abuse and things
Mhm.
like my last relationship I had was I would say somewhat similar in like
Mhm.
abuse that like you went through. It was very much like what you are saying is one, not true.
Yeah.
You like just that video that you posted doesn't show the whole story
Mhm.
for one, but two, like that is such a shitty thing to like do and say about someone who is like telling their like abuse story.
Yeah.
Just
It's invalidating someone that is a victim of abuse to fit a narrative of fear.
yeah, it's
That's fear mongering.
yeah,
I'm trying to explain that because there is a difference between like if I was in a chair and got pulled out of it, you would not want me to be alone in a haunted
yeah,
location anymore.
yeah. I would be concerned for you.
Yeah.
I would like, I would be like, I would want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
But if
But where is the line of fear mongering, you
yeah,
know?
but I would not think that every time you sat down in a chair to do an Estes method, it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I would still be concerned and like want to make sure you were safe and felt comfortable,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna just be like, well, it happened once, it's gonna happen at every location.
Yeah, they like keep telling me about like toddlers and stuff like
Hmm.
that, which is like very weird. But they keep talking about like the parenting methods that allow your kid to like
Gentle, like
do
the gentle parenting type stuff.
well,
Yeah,
it like allows them to do things that they're comfortable that you may deem like, oh, they're gonna fall and hurt themselves. If they're comfortable to do it, why are you instilling your own fears that
yeah,
they're going to hurt themselves
exactly.
into them? So instead of being like, be careful, these parents are saying like, do you feel safe? Do you feel confident
Do
to
you
do
want to
this?
do this?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
hmm So it doesn't instill fear because, like, I was a very fearful child.
Yeah,
You just like look at me the wrong way, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, I can't like climb the
yeah.
monkey bars because I'm gonna fall off and like break my arm,
I
even though
was,
it's never
yeah,
happened to me.
I was not a fearful child
And
at
it's
all.
literally
So
like
it's
you just tell me one thing of, oh, my friend like fell off this and broke their arm.
yeah,
Completely would never
yeah.
do it again.
Well, it's even like the whole like me being hit by a car thing. Like after it happened, like my uncle was notorious for like jaywalking, especially downtown.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to, obviously,
Yeah.
because I was hit by a car.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you can do that. But I'm going to wait and cross safely myself because I
Yeah.
have my own fears. He's
Yeah.
never been hit by a car. He doesn't have that. I'm not like
Mm-hmm.
trying to force him to also be afraid of that,
Yeah.
but I have my own.
Mm-hmm.
So like, do I like get concerned of people walking across the street?
Yeah.
I don't even necessarily like am fearful of other people getting hit by a car. It's mostly just my own fears of like myself.
Yeah.
Like if you and I are like walking across the street or down a street, like no, that's even different. Cause I was gonna say like I like having you you're in the inside and I'm closer to the street,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not even out of like fear of like being hit by a car. That is just I was taught
Consideration.
that you do that as like
Mm-hmm.
for the people that you love, you put the one that you love on the inside.
Yeah.
So in case something happened, I'm not like fearful that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, and I
No,
don't,
I know.
so
It's literally like the toddler thing of you are a parent and you see your toddler like climbing the jungle gym and they're like 2 feet tall and you're like, you're gonna fall and hurt yourself. You telling them that instills your own insecurities and fears that they
yeah.
can't do it.
Or it's even um, like same thing with like kids. If they like fall and hurt themselves, your reaction to them hurting
Hmm
themselves dictates how they're supposed to act.
Yeah.
Because like I've babysat, like I've been around kids forever, so like I babysat a lot of
hmm
kids. I've had a kid fucking face plant just like on the ground, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh dude, you okay? And
hmm
he just gets up and is laughing and he's cool.
Yeah.
But if you're like, "Oh my gosh, are you?" Then they're like, "Oh, I'm
It
supposed to
instills
be
fear.
like I'm supposed to be scared. I'm supposed to be upset." Like,
Yeah.
and obviously it's not to like stop those emotions from happening, but it's to be like, "Hey,
Yeah. It's the way you
how are you
approach it.
feeling about it?
Uh-huh.
Like, do you need a minute? Like, are you upset?" Like,
Yeah, it's the way you approach it. If
mhm.
you approach it the wrong way with kids, they will then second guess themselves
Yeah.
and cause fear,
Mhm.
where your fear shouldn't be instilled into them. If they're comfortable climbing the jungle gym, they're going to stop if they're uncomfortable. And if you need to remind them, do you like look at the ground? Do you feel comfortable? And they say yes, then they continue doing it instead of being like, you're gonna fall, don't climb
Well,
that high.
it's even like my therapist says, like a good therapist isn't going to bring their own personal baggage into a session with a client
Yeah.
because their own like personal baggage issues, if they are bringing that into a session and kind of using that to inform things about their client, it's not going to be beneficial for the client.
Yeah. So that's like where I'm going with like fear mongering
Yeah,
because there is a like genuine concern of we're dealing with like dark things, dark people, dark entities, regardless, and something can happen. And coming from a place of concern of being like, do you feel safe?
yeah,
Versus, don't do this, you're gonna get hurt,
yeah.
are two different responses.
I don't know, like I think like we've gotten like comments of people who are like, I love what you guys do. I worry about you just because you're going into these scary
Mm-hmm.
places,
Yeah.
but I know you guys are safe.
Mhm.
I worry about you. Be safe out there. That is very different from like making a video and being like, M's life fell apart because they
Mm-hmm.
work with demons and play with Ouija boards, and that is why you should not do it because your life will end up the
Will look
exact
like
same
mine.
way.
Yeah. When
That's
in
the difference.
actuality, my life looks that way, and I lost all those people because those people were abusive towards me. They were abusive emotionally, they were
Yeah,
taking advantage of me. And it's even hard for me to say it like that so
yeah,
blatantly because I'm like, these are people that I cared about, and it's very hard for me to know the difference.
yeah.
Hence, like earlier, me talking about Richard,
Hmm.
who only exclusively talked to me like an abusive person
To
to
show you
show me
the
what
red flags.
abusive looks like.
Yeah,
And I saw it in other people. And
hmm,
that's when I started realizing I don't want to
be around that.
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't want to continue to be hurt by these people. And that's when they left. That
yeah.
has nothing to do with demons.
Because I don't know, like making of like making a video or even being like, I don't like using Ouija boards because of these experiences is okay.
Yeah,
But using someone else's life and like bad things that happened and framing it in a way to fit your narrative
yeah,
is an issue.
yeah, that is
And I think,
causing a lot of fear,
yeah, especially
but they
as,
don't understand what even happened to me,
yeah,
it seems.
like, I don't care if you disagree with like us working with dark things or you don't want to or you don't want to use Ouija boards, that's fine. But to use your life, like yours ends,
Yeah.
as the like poster for like, here's what will happen if you play with Ouija boards.
Yeah.
When that's not what happened, is fear mongering.
Hmm.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
That is the issue.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I'm protective of you because you're my girlfriend, but like, if someone's gonna come at you like that, I'm going to be upset and be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, it's just confusing because I'm like, that's not what happened.
At all.
And I don't like understand how demons could have caused that in my life because I lived my life. I know what happened.
Yeah.
And it was very much these people were hurting me and I was making excuses for it.
And it happened long before you ever owned a Ouija board,
Yeah.
before you ever
But it's
used
like,
Ouija boards, talked to
how
demons.
did a
Like,
demon, like, how is it a bad thing that they're not in my life anymore?
yeah,
Because if a demon was doing it, wouldn't it be like significantly worse? And like I know
yeah,
that we're struggling with things, but that's because I surrounded myself with a lot of like bad things for myself because I thought that's how the world
yeah.
worked.
Me like struggling mentally lately has nothing to do with demons.
Yeah.
It has to do with the fact that I moved across the country. Like, I moved out from living with my mom for
Hmm.
the first time ever.
Yeah.
I moved across the country
Hmm.
into a new relationship.
Hmm.
A couple months into moving, I lost my job.
Yeah.
I got thrown into the deep end of content being my full job.
Yeah. And
And
people think that you losing your job and like all these people leaving is caused by demons, but it's just also confusing to see that.
well, I think what confuses me the most
Yeah.
is like a lot of the things that happened to you
Hmm.
happened to me in a similar way.
Hmm.
Like,
Exactly.
and people saying that like me losing my job is like because I have a higher purpose. I'm not supposed to be working a traditional job.
Right.
It's a good thing that this happened, and it's a good thing that like some of the
Yeah.
same people from your life that are gone are also like we
Mhm.
both lost some similar people.
Yeah.
Like you've lost
Yeah, we're in a
different people,
relationship, so
but like we had, like, one of my closest friends that you were also friends with just left. Like,
Mhm.
I lost someone who I was very, very close with just like that.
Yeah.
That was hard. I've lost a lot of people. I'm away from my family. It has nothing to do with demons. Demons
Yeah.
didn't manipulate that. It was just issues with people, things that have happened. Life has happened.
Yeah. And it's just very invalidating
Yeah,
that these people think that we like don't have control over our lives or what's going on.
yeah.
Because like it was very much like I left those relationships because they weren't good
Mhm. Yeah.
and you did the same.
Mhm.
They could say like, "Oh, the bad luck that you're having of like things just don't seem to be going your way," because I also talk about Shinzi dying. You talk about losing your job
Yeah.
and like all these things falling apart.
It's like a lot of those things still had other
There were lead ups to
le
all of it.
yeah, like Shinzi dying.
Shinzi was always a sick cat.
Yeah,
It's not a shock that it happened.
no, like it happened quickly and
Yeah,
it was
we just
horrible.
didn't know it was going to happen.
Yeah.
It wasn't like unexpected because she had lots of medical
Yeah.
problems.
Me losing my job, I I was looking
Yeah,
for jobs
your
for
the
months prior.
company wasn't doing well
Yeah,
and laid off people
yeah.
because it couldn't
It's not like
withstand it.
I just alone got
Yeah,
fired. Several people
yeah,
did. There were signs of it coming for lot
long
longer. I
time.
had talked to you so much about it with my therapist, with my mom, with other people of like,
Yeah,
yeah, like I don't know how this company is gonna do. I don't know what's going on with this.
yeah,
I'm
there were lead
worried.
ups for
Yeah,
everything.
there were lead ups to it.
It's not like in Supernatural. I'm really going to push the Supernatural things now because I'm really like we made a joke about it. It's like Supernatural is actually real. No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Dean
Yes, it
Winchester
is.
is
No,
very
it's
real.
not.
Just kidding.
So, like in Supernatural, where they have the rabbit's foot
Yeah,
and everything's like good luck and everything's like good, positive, whatever, and then they drop it and like
it's like horrible.
very
You're gonna
coincidentally horrible
you're gonna
things
die within
happen.
a week now.
Nothing like that happened to us at all.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, and I don't know, there are even people being like, you're that's why you guys are struggling with financially with the businesses. It's like,
No, there's a lot of things that lead up to that.
yeah, and I was like, us being
Financially
financially
unstable.
unstable is because I lost my job and we are
And we
relying
started
on
a
brand
business
new businesses.
that started in October of last year.
Yeah, we haven't our
Didn't start making money until January.
yeah. So
It is not normal to rely on a new business to support your life
yeah, to support
that fast.
two full
Yeah.
adults.
Hmm.
'Cause we
It also looks like we have a lot of channels. Those all started very recently.
yeah, so
So,
it's just I don't know, it's just confusing to me that people can in the same breath say that the bad things that happened to me were gifts, they were good things, they were meant to happen, but then turn to you and be like, it's because you talk to demons. Because
yeah.
that's what was confusing. Is I was like, one, we talk to the demons together.
Yeah.
We do
Hmm.
what the things that we do it all
Hmm.
together. We talk about everything together. So how would it affect
Yeah.
just me positively and just you negatively?
Yeah.
That
And
doesn't make
it's like,
sense to me.
why are people thinking that that's like all good for you, but not like good for me to get out of the like abusive relationships that I've been in?
Yeah, like
Like, if it sucks a lot to lose all those people,
I don't know. And also
but
on the topic of struggling mentally, I am someone who deals with chronic and diagnosed depression and anxiety.
mhm,
I have my entire life. It
yeah,
runs in my family. That is not a result of me working with demons or using Ouija boards.
yeah,
It is
they all
just
have very specific reasons of why they happen. It didn't just like bad luck,
yeah,
supernatural, we don't have the rabbit foot anymore
yeah.
kind of thing.
Because even I don't know, while yes, bad things have happened, we've also had good things happening.
Yeah,
Meddling our channels are doing very well
very well for being so
for
small.
being so small and so new. We have a great community. We've had
Hmm.
cool opportunities already. We are obviously yeah, things might be difficult, but
It's because we're restarting our lives.
we are restarting from nothing. So
Yeah,
it's going to be an uphill battle.
yeah.
It's going to be like difficult. We're going to have bad days, but
But things aren't getting substantially worse every day. Things
no.
are getting better each day.
Yeah.
It's just going to take a while because we literally like we're going this direction and then all of a sudden veered off the
JK, we're going
road
this way now.
and there's not actually a path there and we have to make a path before we get to the
Yeah.
next road. Like,
Yeah. And us like sharing those things with people isn't to like instill fear. It's to give like understanding of like, hey,
this is what's going
this is
on
what's
with
going
us.
on. Like, I don't know, like me missing like a stream from meddling mediums. I'm not like I try to be transparent of like, hey, I'm not here because I'm just not feeling good mentally. Nothing
Yeah.
happened. I'm just having a bad day.
Hmm.
So I'm just sitting out on this stream
Yeah.
just so it like normalizes those things. Because
Hmm.
again, not every like thing that happens is like because of demons or spirit or crazy things. Sometimes life just fucking happens.
Yeah.
Like me like being like I don't know, that day when I was upset, I was missing my mom.
Hmm.
Like I have a very close relationship with my mom. This is my first like I've
And you're not like down the street. You're
yeah,
like
I'm across the
across the
country.
country.
So it's very hard for me to like go just see my mom.
Yeah.
So it's like I call her, I talk to her. I have a great relationship with my mom. So like me having a bad day and being like a little sad is just because I miss my family because they're
Hmm.
across the country. That's a normal thing,
Yeah.
especially for someone's first time moving out,
Mhm.
being across the country. Like I've been living across the country from my family now for 9 months.
Mhm.
Like some days it's hard, but it's not a demon being like, "Don't you miss your mom?" Like
Yeah.
it's just it's a natural like human response to things.
Mhm. So, I don't know. It's just interesting because fear mongering, there is like, I don't know, if we're trying to define what the line is of like, where is it caution and like trying to like come from a place of like trying to protect one another versus trying to instill fear. Because
Mhm.
again, like with the toddler example, the parent that is worried about their child falling off the jungle gym is coming from a good place. It's coming from an understanding place. But you also need to understand that your fears you are projecting onto your child. They
Mhm.
don't know that they're going to fall off the jungle gym.
Exactly.
So it's like doing that is going to make them more fearful of doing it again.
Mhm.
So it's very much like you have to be careful, especially with like this sort of niche, because there's so much fear mongering in this niche
So much.
that
Cuz
it like there's a big separation between us and spirit is literally just like people that are past.
yeah, I don't know, there are plenty of people who don't believe in like demons, dark things, or even spirit. And like bad things that happen to them, are you like how can you claim that that's from a demon just
Yeah,
if they don't even believe in that?
yeah.
Like
Well,
there's a line.
it's also like in the I don't know in all those scary movies because we're going back. I'm going back to media. The one that believes it the least is the one that is the least impacted.
Mhm.
The one that is sensitive and like has more affiliation to these things being possible is the one that is getting possessed within these like story plot lines.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's kind of like again your mindset of if you don't think it can happen, you're less likely to be affected by it.
Yeah, cuz I don't know. I've been doing like deity work for a long time. I've been like in like doing like spiritual things for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And like again, I came from a place of like religious fear at first
Mm-hmm.
of things.
Yeah.
But anything I'm afraid of, I don't even if it's from like a place of concern, I don't know. Like I've like had readings with people where like I get information that is like scary to me and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like don't ever do this or like this bad thing is going to happen. I'm just like, "Hey, if you decide to do this thing, just make sure you listen to your own gut and intuition
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
and know that and like ensure your own safety with it and trust yourself." That
Mm-hmm.
is that is how I If
Yeah.
I'm afraid of something and I want to like share that caution, it's more so of just trust your instincts, be safe because you are someone who knows you best.
Mhm.
You know what makes you comfortable and what you feel safe around
Exactly.
better than anyone else. Trust that. Use that to inform you and just use your own best judgment for it
Yeah.
because that is the most powerful thing that you can do, especially with like the spiritual niche.
Mhm.
If you are if you think that like you are working with some like I don't know, if you think that you're working with like Lilith and someone else is like, no, you're not, you trust your own instincts, even if
Yeah.
they are different, if they differ from other people. It's the same as the last podcast.
Yeah.
Use your own experiences. You can still listen to other people's experiences, form your own opinions about them
Mhm.
based off of what you believe, how you feel, and
Yeah.
what resonates most with you.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then I don't know, people a lot of mediums also always say like take what resonates with you, leave the rest for other like at the door.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, it's very much like you can be fearful and have like bad experiences, but don't instill your fear to other people. Allow them to have their own
Yeah,
experiences and be validated in them.
yeah. Because if you only are instilling fear based on your own personal like fearful negative experiences, in my opinion, you are opening yourself up and making it so other people are opening themselves up for more of those experiences and you're like feeding it's a
Hmm.
toxic feedback loop back into the problem.
Yeah.
Whereas you can just be like, hey, I was hit by a car once,
Yeah.
so when we're walking across the street, can we just like be a little bit mindful because I have my own things versus being like, you should never walk across the street.
You're gonna get hit by a
If you
car.
walk across the street at 6:30 a.m. on October 4th, when it's dark after rain, you will be hit by a car. Like,
But it's very much like if you do it in more like a realistic aspect, because
yeah.
again, very terrified of everything. If I like go to cross the street and you just start screaming, I'm gonna be afraid to cross the street.
Yeah. 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 So you can share your own experiences and like your own like opinions with people, but you have to understand that not everyone is going to be fearful of the same things. We
Yeah.
are all unique individuals who have our own experiences, bias, ego, different tastes and things, different likes, dislikes, whatever. That is what makes it great.
Yeah.
Allow people to have different opinions and experiences.
Hmm.
You, especially if it doesn't affect you in any way.
Yeah.
The-
So
Anyways, sorry, I could keep going forever, and this has already been a long podcast.
if you guys have any opinions about fear mongering and different ideas in association to how like where the line is, let us know down below in the comments because we want to hear your opinion about this topic because I feel like it's controversial because there's a lot of people that like want it to be scary, think that they're not fear mongering or like whatever
There's a
it
lot of people who
is.
get angry if you say that they're fear mongering.
Yeah, so let us know your opinion. Where is the line of the fear mongering? Like, where does it become an issue? Let us know down below. But if you guys are interested in merch,
Em's wearing it. Mine's not here yet. My sample hasn't come in, but
the link will be down in the show
there's
notes. It's really cool. We tried to do pieces that weren't like necessary logo tees. We wanted to make it so that if you didn't know who we were,
you would
you would
still,
still wear it.
yeah. Or if you want to get it and wear it out in public, it's not like I'm wearing like a cringe
It's not
YouTuber
just
shirt.
literally haunted smoke and mirrors somewhere. It's like
Yeah, it's art.
it's more than that.
Yeah, we tried to like our names are on it. Like this one that Em's wearing, it says Smoke and Mirrors on the like arms,
That one's so great.
but it's but
But it's more subtle.
yeah, it's
There's
more.
a design on the back. Sorry, I keep like
No, you're
beating
fine.
you up.
It's fine.
Really
I'm used to it in a loving way of her accidentally bumping into
being
me.
clumsy.
We're both very clumsy. She's not. She's. It's fine. Everything's fine. But Yeah, check out the merch. We have a lot of really cool pieces. I'm excited.
We want one of each. And if
Yeah,
you guys do get the merch and want to show us, tag us on Instagram and we'll shout you guys out. I mostly say this because I just want to know what it looks like on all of you because I
i-
can't afford one of each, but I want one of each. Yeah.
we'll get one of each eventually, but we've already had some of our like members and people
Yep.
start
And
getting
it's
their merch in,
so cool and
and
I'm really
it's
excited about it.
awesome. So definitely check that out. Keep an eye out on our socials for like updates about Etsy restocks,
Mm-hmm.
all of those things. Check out Meddling Mediums, and you can watch our investigations. Where the last place that is currently public that went out was the Conjuring House. We went to the Conjuring House.
Yeah.
It's probably not what you would expect from the Conjuring House. We went to the Conjuring House, and our next location is dropping this Saturday.
So if you guys are interested in this type of content, you like what we talk about, make sure to subscribe, follow, do all of the podcasty things, and we'll see you guys next
Bye.
time.